Good morning, everybody. It's Neil Andrews here for Clocking the Gallop of preview for the Kenilworth race meeting today. Sunday, 9 races down at Kenilworth and some nice horses running. Not the biggest of fields, but there are one or two challenging races where those fields are big. And I think you can get some value down at Kenilworth today. So let's get straight into it. And of course, see if we can follow up a terrific day yesterday. And we were on point on every single one of our broadcasts yesterday, whether it be the Take a Bet, which of course won us the tipping competition. So we're pleased for that because we got 10,000 Rand cash for our charity, Cart and Horse. Nico and his preview team were spot on with our tipping sheet. And of course, it was rounded off by me making the price booster Bingwa, who I'd liked all week, and we tipped it at 14 to 1. There was money for it, but if you got on early, like we told you in the morning, well, then you got the 14 to 1. And our thanks, of course, to the team at soccershop.bet. So great day yesterday, and let's see if we can follow it up today. I'm going to share with you straight into the card. A couple of scratchings that have come through, so we'll mention that as we go along. So let's go to the first race. Well, here we've got this is a work riders race, by the way. I don't normally get involved, but I do have an opinion here. Clearly, the favourite is obvious. Carico, number 2, opened up at 8 to 10, has come into through 7 to 10, through 6 to 10, now 5.5 to 10. Does look like the right horse. Number 10, Ciderhouse Rules, has drifted accordingly. I just wanted to throw 2 out there. Maybe the value in the race could be number 6, Rafiki, who's at 8 to 1. It's a son of Rafiki. He wasn't well drawn last time, and of course he's got young Dixon on board. Blinkers go on, good enough draw at 6. So if you're not chasing the 5 to 10 favourite, the number 6 Rafiki could offer a little bit of each way value. And likewise, number 4 Gimme Gorgeous for Suzette Fillion, Suzette and Barcy. I think there'll be in some improvement to come with the work rider there. So the first race, obviously number 2, you don't need to be a genius to spot that. But I think the value 6 and 4. But that is not, because there's 9 races, it's not part of the bipot or the place accumulator. The bipot will start in race 2. Now, what's interesting here is that I saw the computer form selection here, which Brendan Galliard did, was 7, 2, 4, and only then 6. Interestingly enough, again, in the best weighted column, there's no sign of number 6, Perfect Trust, in the first 4. But in my own handicapping, I thought it came in particularly well. There's a jockey change as well. JP van der Merwe is not riding today. Gavin Lorena picks up the ride. And I think it's a nice pickup ride for him. I know she's a 5-year-old mare, but I think she comes in pretty well on some form lines here. So my first choice would be number 7, Perfect Trust, who's 7 to 2. Beyond that, I think there's pretty much a case can be made for most of the runners in this race. Treasure Hunt is at 7 to 2, not necessarily well in on 1 and 2 form lines, but a pretty honest performer. Virginia Sweet's an interesting runner because she is a half sister to Do It Again, no less. So she could pick up from where she left off after a maiden victory. But generally speaking, I think it's quite a competitive race. I know the Ghost Rider liked it with the number 3, Raising Quinn. But that would actually validate my own selection because on debut, when they were in the maidens together, if you have a look on the 15th of December last year, Perfect Trust, the horse I like, actually beat Raising Quinn by 3 1/4 lengths and is a kilogram better off. So I haven't spoken to the Ghost Rider, but when I do, I'll be telling him, if you like Raising Quinn, you've got to like my horse, Perfect Trust. Anyway, that's the first leg of the bipot. I'm not a great bipot player, so I probably won't be getting involved anyway, but Perfect Trust, the each way selection for me there. Let's move on to race 3. Well, Aphrodite looks to be the right one here, particularly as number 3, Tuscany, is now scratched. You've got a couple of scratchings here. It's not listed here, but it is scratched. 3's gone, 5 has gone out of the race, and actually over the page, number 12, She's All Cold is also, She's All Gold, I should say. Mind she's very cold as well because she's not running either. Interesting money, though, for Venus de Milo here. What I will say about Venus, so my first choice is number 2, Aphrodite. As I was mentioned to Clochlo when we did our Take a Bet insert, Take a Bet with Tab today, number 2, Aphrodite, is a sister to Vardy and Universal, no less. So I'm not surprised she improved second time out, and she is the horse to beat here at 18 to 10. But some long shot support for some interesting runners. Number 7, Yaya Maria, is Suzette Fillion's horse. Could improve because she was drawn poorly at her last 2 starts. She's a daughter of Pomodoro, so she certainly will be comfortable over the 1400. Number 8, Venus de Milo, is interesting. Good improvement at the second start. Aldo rides. And I must say that the William Longswords are coming well now. So if you've noticed, there's a trend where William Longsword, the sire, is getting his winners now. And maybe proof that he's not really a 2-year-old sire, but he's coming into his own now as this horse has turned 3. So some respect for Venus de Milo. Also just below that, respect for number 900, Fifth Avenue, who actually had the beating of Tuscany. So I preferred it to Tuscany anyway. 2 kilograms better off with the last run. So if you like Tuscany, then I would just shift to popping in number 900, Fifth Avenue, and there's not much between them. But to me, although there's money for a few runners here, it remains number 2, Aphrodite, who is my first choice on account of the improvement last time, the draw of 2, and perhaps even more significantly, her pedigree. So that's my take on the first leg of the place accumulator. Let's move on to the first leg of the pick 6 now and have a look at the betting. Okay, very open race, in my opinion, because as I always remind punters, a lot of punters see this, they see a maiden, they think, oh, it's a maiden. It's not a maiden. It's a special weights maiden. You have to do your handicapping in this race. So if you have a look, in fact, last time Global Avenue Run, I think it went off, it opened up at 2-1. And on that occasion, I said it can't win. Not at the weights, because it had to carry 59.5 kilograms, and it shipped weight to Guy Alexander, who I actually tipped on the day and won, under Smanga Kamala. Of course, it is a 4-year-old, and that's going to be in her favor because the 4-year-olds here running over 1,800 meters are pretty well in. I think they are 8 kilograms better off than the 3-year-olds at this time of the year. So you have to factor that in when you're doing your special weights here. I've gone pretty wide in the PA. I'll quickly whip through the horses. Well, what I'll do is have a look at what's happened in the betting minute, so we can have a look here. So number 10, F8, has got to be a runner. Open 7-2. She's a daughter of Futura out of a Lundy's Liability mare. So I think the 1,800 will suit her, but she is a 3-year-old, and she hasn't got the best of draws at 10, but twice she's been poorly drawn anyway, 10 out of 13, 10 out of 11. Keegan de Mello is riding. Sure. I don't even know if there's words to describe how well he's riding. I mean, he makes absolutely no mistakes. I was talking to Alistair Cohen yesterday after he rode a winner for Alistair's yard, of course, Candace Dawson. Terrific ride in the last race. And Keegan, if you're listening, well, just keep it up because it's a pleasure to watch at the moment. So huge bonus that Keegan de Mello rides again on number 10, F8. Whether she's valued 5-2 or not, I don't know, because she does have 55.5 kilograms to carry, but you can't leave her out of the PA. Money for number 11, Royal Invitation. Royal Invitation and Silver Links are not particularly well drawn, like F8. And maybe there could be a surprise in this race. I'll give you the shortlist for me, but first I will start with number 7, Global Avenue. I brassed it last time, but I'm going to put her in the PA here because she's a 4-year-old. Grant van Niekerk's back on board, and the blinkers go on. The Ghost Rider also fancies her chances. So certainly from a PA point of view, I won't leave number 7, Global Avenue, out. I'm probably going to put in number 6, Fallow Ancora as well, because her penultimate start was pretty good. On either side of her running second, she ran poorly, but from poor draws. She's got an okay draw here, and she is a 4-year-old. So I've seen worse 14-1 shots than that. But my 2 roughies in the race are actually number 1, Signora Victoria, who is got pole position 1, and I think will benefit from jumping and getting a position with Aussie Noach. Last run I'm ignoring because the saddle slipped. So I think that number 1, Signora Victoria, being a 4-year-old at a big price of 16-1, might have a say in the outcome. And then probably my biggest roughie in the race is number 3, Dream Spirit, who is a 3-year-old, but she also hasn't had the best of draws, and something just tells me that the step up to 1,800 for this daughter of Twice Over might elicit some improvement, particularly as she's only carrying 52 kilograms. Sean Veal ride. So there's some value there at 16-1, those top 2 that I've mentioned, 1 and 3, from obviously good draws. Interesting race. I love these races. Sometimes I get it horribly wrong, where the favorite bolts up and carries the weight to victory. The top weight, but it also happens on a number of occasions, like with Guy Alexander and others, where we find a lot of value for you. And I'm always looking for value in a race, as you know. So for me, the value lies with the likes of 1, Senor Victoria, 3, Dream Spirit. And, you know, even horses like Medalist Tart, not without a shout, carrying Medalist Tart has got, what, 55 kilograms. So interesting race. It's always a good problem to try and solve, these special weights made. And I love spending time studying them and trying to find some value for you. Right, bottom line there, I'm going to go wide in the PA. Let's move on to the 5th race, and we've got the classified stakes race. Well, there's only one filly here in the classified stakes race. Of course, fillies are well off, and that's number 7, Alfred's Girl. Now, Alfred's Girl is 16 to 1. It's not the worst value if you believe in the best weighted column. I have to say, though, that although she is well weighted, the truth of the matter is she's 8 years of age, and her form isn't great. So I can't, with any degree of confidence, tell you to lump onto Alfred's Girl, but the numbers don't lie, and I think she's in a race where she could be competitive. But for me, number 2, Nothing Else Matters, is on the upgrade. He's the son of Elusive Fort. Yes, he's going 2,200 meters, and the horses around him, number 1, Twice the Master, and number 3, Mr. Monocle, are 4-year-olds. But there is lots of argument to suggest that Nothing Else Matters is improving quicker than anything else, and the other 2 are certainly well tried. Twice the Master's having his 12th start, whereas Nothing Else Matters is just having his, 8th start. So for me, 2, probably the right horse. The Ghost Rider made it, for what it's worth, made it his best bet on the card. I'm not so sure it would be my best bet, but I do acknowledge that it's a big runner. For me, the value might be, as I mentioned, 1, Twice the Master, and 3, Mr. Monocle. When Twice the Master met on the one occasion, he actually beat Nothing Else Matters. I think it was on the 31st of July. So got to have a chance in that race. But again, an interesting race. For me, the winner will come from 1, 2, or 3. Long shot support for Policy Target, Grant for Nico Grides. I've mentioned that the best weighted will be Alfred's Girl. Okay, let's move on to our 6th race now. I'm just going to pick it up because it's starting to be a long preview, and my intention was to keep it short. 6th race is very, very open. Okay, I could spend a lot of time talking about this, the ins and outs of it, but let's quickly look at the money horses. Benjamin, not without a chance, could pop up again, I wrote here. But Aldo is on the 15. Long shot support for number 8, King Mo. I didn't even know that was in the race. Let me just have a look at that. Vaughan Marshall, Aussie Notes, not really for me. Some support for Voldemort, who on some lines of form is pretty good, but I felt on a couple of other form lines he was held by 1, Benjamin, and even number 6, Captain's Knot, who interestingly has dropped down 19 merit-rated points. That's number 6. And there is some long shot support for him. I wish Craig Banton the best. I have to say, no fault of his, perhaps, more fault of mine, but I just can't catch Craig Banton. Whenever I go for him, the horses generally don't deliver. We'll see how he goes today, but that's a bit of a roughie. My comment as far as this race is concerned, the horses that you have to focus on are 2 horses, starting with 15, Hammy's Hero. I think he's really got a lot of potential. He's got a lot of upside, this horse, Hammy's Hero. He's 1 for the notebook. Last time he was drawn 8 out of 9 at Durbanville and never got into the race. The last 200 meters, he was doing some low flying. I think with that experience under the belt, Aldo de Meyer in the irons, I think Hammy's Hero is 1 for my little black book. So I expect him to run quite nicely today. Stable companion, Marina Trogon, is a daughter of Savannah out of Beach Beauty. So in time to come, I'm sure she's going to be more effective over 7 furlongs and a mile. Could pop up here, but I prefer slightly number 15, Hammy's Hero, of those 2 Bass Robinson horses. And then I want to come back to a horse that last time, punters who follow us and follow my soccershop.bet price boosters will know that I labeled last time as the price booster. This horse here, 2, Bluff on Bluff, at a big price. I think it opened up at something like 14 to 1, and we tipped it, and it won well. I think he's actually got away rather leniently with his penalty. He was a 66, he's gone to a 69, so he got a 3-point penalty. But there was lots to like about the way he won that race. And I respect him again here. He's only got 54.5 kilograms. He's drawn 2. And I think Pete Staines got him in a good place, the son of Oratorio. And, I'm a big rep for the Oratorios. We've bought one ourselves. And our Ben McBloodstock has sent that horse down to Garth Puller. So the Oratorios, I believe, are very good value for money. And I like Bluff on Bluff to be effective again. So that was supposed to be the short version of this assessment, but it's a big field. You've got to tread warily. I wouldn't put you off whatever your own fancy is. But for me, I'm building it around 2 Bluff on Bluff at a very big price, 16-1. I'm almost tempted to make it another price booster today at that price. Because that's a big price. And at the bottom here, number 15, Hammy's Hero at 7-1. But I've tipped you a 16-1 shot and a 7-1 shot, so I'm sure you'll have to put in a favorite or two around there to go with it. Interesting race. That could be the value race of the day. Let's go on to race 7, shall we? And have a look here. So a couple of updates. Number 155 is scratched. And so is number 5, Bright Green. So this race is going to really cut up and the betting's going to change. Out goes 1 and 5. It's left with just 2 horses. And for me, number 6, Russian Rock, who I tipped last time in a top quality field, wasn't disgraced. He ran 4th. He just ran out of gas the last 100 meters. But perhaps he was entitled to do that because the company he was keeping was excellent. Triple Fortune won that race. And I think Russian Rock will go well for Grant Burr again today. But I do like a little bit number 3, Kayleen, who her last 2 starts, well, the last start in particular was against Marina. Before that, she's a keeper. She's run against some really good sorts. And this race will suit her because it is a progress plate. So for me, 6 from 3 in that race. Let's move on to the penultimate race. Race 8 is the Ready to Run Stakes. Well, we know that horses, these are relatively newly turned 3-year-olds. They can improve quickly. Number 6, Piroshka, I believe, does set a standard. He's been quite busy. This is his 8th start, but he's run behind horses like Hit Them Hard, Sunshine, Dave the King. And last time, kind of got into the race a bit late. But in this company, this Ready to Run Stakes, I think he'll be hugely effective at number 6, Piroshka. They're not surprised to see him at 5-2. For me, the value might be here To the Moon and Back, which is, I think, is a Savage Garden lyrical song, isn't it? To the Moon and Back. Grant van Niekerk for Greg Bortz. Hasn't been well drawn the last, I know it was small fields, but wasn't drawn well in the last 3 starts. 7 out of 7, 7 out of 8, 6 out of 8. Cracks a 2 draw here. The run in the Lungerman, the JWS Lungerman, was pretty good. So number 2, To the Moon and Back, was gelded last time. I think he'll come on leaps and bounds. And, well, Piroshka might be my first choice, but number 2, To the Moon and Back, certainly when he was at 8-1, was excellent value indeed. Does the race stop there? Well, no, because I think you've got to respect number 7, Royal Aussie. Keegan de Merlo rides number 8, Heart Stealer, who was also gelded last time and came from a hopeless draw of 12, so could improve. And then actually, our good friend Ricky Maingard's got a couple of runners in this race. Number 11, Street Law, is another one who I was very impressed when he beat We're Jamming on debut. He's a lovely looking son of Master of My Fate. He's got Bernard Fade Herb on. So if the 6 and the 2 are to fluff their lines, then there could be a surprise. See, there's money for number 1, Big Slick. Let me have a look at Big Slick. Well, he's a Camford Cliffs. Gavin Lorena rides. He did beat Heart Stealer last time on exposed form, and there's not much to suggest that that might be reversed, only that Heart Stealer, that was his first run after gelding and was poorly drawn. But I suppose if you like Heart Stealer a bit, as I do, then you've got to respect Big Slick. And he's been back from 16-1 to 7-1. But to sum up, Piroshka and To the Moon and Back, my 2 principal protagonists there. Let's move on to the last race so I can wrap it up for you. It is a Sunday after all, and some of us have got to get into Super Santa taxi and head off to watch Gavin Hunt's team play. I'm going to watch Supersport United play Swallows this afternoon, so looking forward to that. So let me get to the 9th race. Maybe there's an omen there as I go through the last leg. Let's have a look. So the likely 2 candidates here will be number 1, Pardenom. only 54 kilograms, and Keegan DeMelo in a 1 draw on a hat trick, won very well last time. So odd not to make a case out for Pas de Nom. I'm sure it's the normal, what are they called, the triumvirate that get together, the Brains Trust, which is Jehan Malherbe, Dean Kannemeyer, and ably assisted by Dr. John McVeigh and the team. And they bought another very nice horse here who's on the up and up. He's number 1, Pas de Nom. So he's got everything going in his favor. Number 3, Sugar Mountain, though, is a year older, but he does have to ship him 6 kilograms. There's a lot to like about. I wrote here, good sort. And if there's any justice in racing, then this horse will win, because Arun Chadra and the team yesterday at Allied Steel Road did such a fantastic job at the charity mile. And Aaron spoke very well afterwards about giving back to charity. So I hope the Sugar Mountain runs well for him. And of course, Vaughan Rippon and the team, although this is owned by Arun. Just a quick word about him, though. As much as he's got Elder de Meyer in a 3 draw, he's got to ship 6 kilograms to Pas de Nom. That's a lot. And I know he's a year older, but yeah, I don't know. Look, the form has been franked. He beat Han Solo 2 runs back. He went out and won the Algoa Cup. So you can't deny his chances, but I just think 60 kilograms is a bit of pudding to lump about here. So I slightly prefer number 1, Pas de Nom, but I don't think that the race necessarily ends there. I think Global Alley is a runner. I would definitely suggest you have a look at Global Alley. The blinkers go on, good draw too, and definitely offered some value. Further down here, I see there's money for Future Swing. He's the son of Futura. Yeah, he wasn't on my radar, but I suppose you must take cognizance of the money for that. The only other horse I do want to mention is the 10 horse. Is there money for that? Not really. On a line through Pas de Nom should confirm, but he has, subsequent to when he beat Pas de Nom, and I think he's 2 kilograms worse off. So on that run, he should be next to Pas de Nom. But after that, he went missing a bit. But to be fair, he ran twice behind Charles Dickens. I'm talking about number 10, We Can Go All Night now. He ran twice behind Charles Dickens, and he ran 4th in the JWS Langerman. He hasn't got the best of draws. He's drawn 10, but he's got Gavin Lorena to help him get past that. And he's a very well-bred son of Give Me the Green Light. So he's very close to number 1, Pas de Nom on form. So another nice race to end. There's some potential 3-year-olds who are improving. Value for me in the race. The value for me in the race, number 2, Global Alley. Wish I'd got the 16 to 1, because as soon as this call's over, I'll be snaffling up the each way 12 to 1. So that's my take on the race meeting. Let me just stop sharing. Nice racing down in Western Cape today. We really were in stellar form yesterday, and we love delivering the goods for our viewers and punters. And the Bingwa celebrations continue. It's fantastic when you work something out handicap-wise, as I did, and explained to everybody on a line through, well, he won the charity mile comfortably last year and was better off with the MK's Prides and horses around him. He had Gavin Lorena, a good draw. So thrilling to see a horse like that you label, trot up and win well, because there's nothing better than studying racing, and when the numbers work out and the horse delivers. That's why we play racing, and we don't head off to the casino and take our chances with lottery numbers. So really pleased about Bingwa yesterday. We'll see if we can do the same today. Neil Andrews signing off for Clocking the Gallop. Don't forget to get along to our platform, because there's lots going on there. There'll be a price booster later on, of course, and we've got a Take a Bet, which Clochlo and I will be doing. It'll be a place accumulator at Kenilworth today. Thank you.